Hello everybody and welcome to another Total War Warhammer Immortal Empire series here on the channel. I decided it's finally time. We're going to take the plunge and delve into the Shadows of Change DLC that everybody is complaining about so much. So we're going to be playing as the Changeling here. I realize this is a couple of Chaos factions in a row. I think this is our third Chaos faction in a row that we're playing here. No, because before that I did the Chaos Dwarf, so this is a fourth Chaos faction in a row. Ugh. But we're still gonna do this just because I think, even though I don't feel that the Changelings campaign is the best campaign in Shadows of Change, I do think it was the campaign that probably had the most thought put into it compared to the other campaigns. The only problem I have with the Changeling campaign here is it feels like there's a real lack of direction in the campaign victory. So I like to hit like the long campaign victories as my goal for the series, and with the Changeling, your long campaign victory sort of happens across the entire map, right? So it can be a little difficult to find out what you want to do, but it's almost impossible to lose this campaign. We are playing up on a legendary difficulty. Let's find our options. We're playing up on legendary difficulty. Yeah, legendary campaign difficulty with hard battle difficulty. I really don't like very hard battle difficulty. I don't think it makes the game any better in any way at all. It just makes the troops that you're fighting against have like more hit points. That's really all it does. So it doesn't actually increase the tacticalness of the game in any sort of way, in my opinion. It just means that you have to cheese the battles more often than not. So this one we're going to be playing up on legendary and hard instead of very hard like we did with Khorne. So, the Changeling. What do we do here with the Changeling? So, the Deceivers of Tzeentch here, you have schemes instead of other things. You have schemes, and your ultimate campaign victory is to win this ultimate scheme, which is you versus the Empire, Bretonnia, Teclis, Cathay, Caterin, and dwarves, right? I don't think it's Caterin. I think it's just a regular Ice Witch, right? Yeah. And you could have reinforcements: Pestilence, Arkan, Wolfric, Silostra, and some greenskins. But in order to get your reinforcements, you have to complete these schemes, and to get rid of the enemy reinforcements, you have to complete these schemes, which is ultimately the goal of the campaign. So you start here in the Empire. When was the last time we started in the Empire? I think we did, well, my first campaign was Kazrak up here, right? So we started in the Empire before, but the Changeling here is very different. You don't take settlements, you build cults. You can never take a settlement as the Changeling. You'll never actually own the settlement, and therefore, since you can't own settlements, you can't really lose settlements either. So you can't really lose this campaign. It's not really designed to be a difficult campaign. It's designed to be more of a thematic campaign, I guess. So we make all our money through these cults. We get all our units through these cults. And most importantly, I think, when we're in the territory of these cults, our armies are completely hidden and they can't be ambushed or found or anything. So yeah, you're super busted in this campaign, and Tzeentch does have one of the best demon chaos army rosters for the demon lord. So like, I think Nurgle, in my opinion, has the best chaos army roster. If you're playing as not Nurgle, you're playing as the warriors of chaos, but I think Tzeentch as Tzeentch has the best army by far. Let's get started here with choosing a technology that we're going to go after. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Each thing has 3 sets of 3. Tzeentch's magic number is 9. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you have 9 techs. We had to start here with the Way of the Trickster. Every scheme begins with a seed planted in plain sight of the Changeling's victims. We get 10 cult supplies per turn. That allows us to build buildings. 10 Grinwires per turn. That allows us to do our Dinchi changing of the ways here. And we get casualty replenishment, which is very important because we will be fighting a lot of battles. Maybe not at first, but over time we do end up fighting quite a lot of battles here as the Changeling. We are going to rename our iridescent horror here. We have Modi Rob, the Orb Keeper. Let's name you to Modi Robert, the Orb Keeper. That way we keep track of him and we know what he's doing. He's going to be with us throughout the whole campaign here. Ooh. And yeah, let's start. The first thing we have to do is take Needling here. We do start with the new Tzeentch units, the Cockatrice. It's okay. It's not great, but it's okay. And the Zangors, also again, they're okay. They're not perfectly great, but they're just fine. Let's grab those. Do the Beastmen get access to the Zangors? I think they might. The Zangors would probably be better for the Beastmen because they have the barrier, right? So let's go ahead and fight this battle. It's a pretty simple battle here, but the first battles of each campaign are always the most simple, right? We just want to get a feel for what these armies feel like, how they control, how they play. The Tzeentch army is kind of strange. They are very high elvish, where you're super focused on ranged, but your ranged units have low ammunition and they friendly fire quite a bit. So you're kind of focused a lot on magic. And later on, I would say like cavalry eventually become pretty big. But our starting unit here, not the best starting units. We have a Flamer, which is pretty good. The Burning Chariot is, it's so-so. It's pretty mid. It's okay. I find it only has like 4 or 5 shots worth of ammunition. And then it's kind of useless because you never, ever, ever want to send this into melee combat because it will just die immediately. So it's only got like 4 shots. You have a Chaos Fury. We all know how Chaos Furies are. As soon as they start to lose any sort of leadership, they die immediately. They fall apart. They're really just for keeping up the archers, keeping them occupied in the back. Luckily, they just have a bunch of swordsmen, spearmen, so they really don't have the best units in the world. As Tzeentch, we want to be using our magic, so let's try that channel magic. We suck. We lost that roll. That's great. Our units, the Zangors, do get Vanguard deployment, which is pretty cool. I do have a complaint about the Zangor unit models. They do look fine, right? But this is not what Zangors look like. Tzeentch Beastmen should have like bird feet. They should have bird faces. They should look like Daniel, basically, when he becomes all Tzeentchy, right? You should look like your Chaos Lords when they become all Tzeentchy. This is not a Tzeentch unit, even though it's all purple. This looks more like a Slaaneshi unit, right? Doesn't this look like a Slaaneshi unit? But they do okay on the battlefield. They're better frontliners than your horrors are, obviously, right? So, how do we want to get this set up? I want to give... My Cockatrice cannot Vanguard deploy, huh? You kind of just want to keep these boys up front. Get your blue horrors in a firing line behind them. And we'll put these guys over here. Get all the flyers all together. And ultimately, what we want to do is actually shift all of this over so that we have room for our we want room for our flamers over there on the side. We want to put the flamers over here on the side so they get a nice flank shot off. We'll start this battle. Move everybody up the hill. Get our flyers over here to the backside. The cockatrice we have looks okay. Nice pinks and purples. And the chariot there with the flamer on it. These units are probably the best units we've got right now, these flamers. They do a lot of damage if you get them lined up properly on the side. Most of what we're going to have happening here is our mage shooting. I want... Oh, wow, we missed everything there. That sucks. We'll get back here. Pull up our flamer to hit this. And the Changeling actually kind of sucks as a spellcaster, which is okay because you're really not going to be using him as a spellcaster. You're going to be using him as a lord, right? Kind of don't want the Furies going in right away. You're going to be using the Changeling as a melee combatant mostly. I really need to start leading that better. Didn't get anybody, missed everything. Get you back in there. Blue horrors. No, blue horrors should be attacking the people that are attacking them. Let's get some more whatchamacallit. Where did our cockatrice go? Oh, it's flying around. Let's try to get some flank shots here with the cockatrice. Flamers are about to run into a big problem, and my blue horrors are out of ammo already, which is terrible. Don't have enough magic right now to do any damage to anybody with the Changeling. Those guys are routed off. Tzeentch units do get this barrier, which does keep you a little bit healthier. But it does mean that you get way less casualty replenishment later on, because I think the game counts you as having way more health than you actually do. And it messes with the auto-resolve quite a bit, in my opinion. I don't think Tzeentch gets very good auto-resolve rolls. Although, later on, if we get like Chaos Lords and stuff, or not Lords, Chaos Warriors and Chosen in the army, the auto-resolve does tend to go our way pretty well. We lost 22 units that fight, took out 301 units, and we took this settlement. We really only lost health on our Zangors, and they got the most kills, with 69 kills total. And our Flamers and Burning Chariot coming in pretty clutch there as well. We're going to need to build up a good front line, though, and that means more Blue Horrors. They're not the best front line, right? But having the range damage really does help to keep your army alive, keep their army beat down, because you run out of ranged potential ammunition with your Flamers and with your Burning Chariots super duper quick. Pretty decent victory there. Okay, we got the Obsidian Trinket. Spell resistance is actually pretty decent here in the Empire. We might end up needing that. We want to, instead of taking the settlements, we get these cults. So you can get a symbiotic cult, which boosts the province that it's in. You can get a parasitic cult. I find that it's almost always better just to go for the parasitic cult. It gives you just an extra... Well, it depends. It's really hard. I build a lot of symbiotic buildings, but I also build a few parasitic buildings, and you can build both in any settlement. So this choice doesn't truly matter. It just affects what starting building you end up with. Oh man, the game is chugging today. Ever since the new hot fix, my game has been chugging. So let's... Okay, quest? Jeez. Okay, let's check out what buildings we got here. So We have military buildings. We can get a military cult. We have parasitic buildings. So like this building right here gives me extra cult supplies, and this is a really good building because it gives you way more cult supplies over the turns, and it gives you a lot of corruption over the turns compared to like, so if we look here at the max one, it's 9 per turn and 12 grimoires, where this is 6 and 16, and the cult supplies are more important than the grimoires. But this does raise your discoverability, like the Skaven Undercities, you do have discoverability here, right? But this discoverability really doesn't matter because you can build this building right here and it decreases your discoverability by 40. And you're pretty incentivized to build like this building. Most of the time, this is a pretty good building to build. However, this needling right here, their base income's pretty terrible. So we're gonna build, instead, we're gonna be building like this parasitic building, which would just give me 450 guaranteed, whereas this building is based off of how well the settlement owner is doing, and it would only give me 40, right? It does decrease discoverability though, which is pretty useful. I find that my favorite building to build here is the Enforcer's Abode, because at top level it gives you a 12% chance to spread your cults automatically, even though it does cost 300, where if you look at the Symbiotic building, it's a 6% chance and it has half the cost. So this is almost always never ever worth building, in my opinion. It's always worth building this parasitic one, and most of the time it's worth building your symbiotic money building. Money is a big problem, I think, for the first... I've played like a 50 turn campaign here now as a changeling, and money is a pretty big problem at the start, but over time it gets a lot easier to maintain your money. So this drops discoverability by 20. We are currently at 20. I do want to build this income generator right here, so that's going to get me up to 40, and if I build this, that's going to get me up to 60. So we've got to be careful. I think the money is going to be pretty important up front here. I do want to get up to pink horrors eventually. Discoverability over here in Flensburg is fairly significant, but it's not really enough right now to worry about. So we do eventually want to get up here to the Cult of Change for some technology. But man, that's expensive. Flamers are always going to be good to build, so we'll just pick that up as well. And I eventually, when I have enough grimoires, I want to get this so we can start getting our frontline units, our Chaos Warriors with halberds, and our sorcerers. I find that my army here tends to be like super reliant on... Oh, and we're hidden because we have a cult here. I find that my army tends to be super reliant on heroes as the changeling here. Now, what else did we get that turn? We got our unique cultist. This has the exact same unit model as your regular cultist, which is stupid. You have to be very careful. This is not a chaos cultist of Tzeentch. It is a trickster cultist. This guy is super special. He can create a trickster cult in any settlement that you want to put your trickster cult in. And that's really important because that's a free spread, right? You don't have to fight that settlement to get that spread. These are super rare. You don't get these. You can't purchase these like you can like your chaos sorcerers or your cultists of Tzeentch. You can't get them like that. They only get done through quests or by unlocking them through the trickster cultists here, or unlocking them through schemes. I think there's a couple of schemes that you can get that unlocks them. And the game kind of wants you to put a trickster, your first cult, I think, here in Workbad. But that's a huge trap. Don't fall for that. Workbad as a settlement kind of sucks. It doesn't give you any income, and this will give you like a chance to get a lot of income. Now, if you want money, it makes sense to send this all the way over here to Lothern and put it in Lothern, because that's probably the richest settlement in the game at the beginning of the game. So you could do that. You could, if you don't want to wait that long, you could send it over here to Altdorf and put it over here. There is a scheme for having a tier 5 cult building in Altdorf, so that's pretty important. That'll give you the Regiment of Renowned Steam Tank, which can be useful. But my personal favorite place is in this first Trickster, and this is like the third time I've played, I've played a couple 50-turn campaigns here of the Trickster, of the Changeling, to see what to do with it. But I want to put it here in Castle Drakenhof, and there's a couple of reasons why I want to put it in Castle Drakenhof. First of all, Castle Drakenhof makes a ton of money. They make a ton of money. The vampire counts are pretty strong, especially Vlad. He's not likely to die anytime soon, and this is not likely to ever get sacked. So if you have a symbiotic cult in here and it gets sacked, you're gonna make less money. That's not a problem with Vlad, because Vlad is crazy strong. Is it Vlad or is it Isabella? Oh, it's my boy. It's Vlad. There's Isabella right there. Yeah, so
expand Sylvania's borders.
it's really not ever going to happen that this is ever going to lose money unless something crazy happens. Also, I think it's pretty in flavor that we want to, like, the Empire here is fighting off the vampires, but if we put symbiotic buildings in all of Sylvania here, it's going to make Sylvania really strong. And if we put parasitic buildings in all of Stirland here, it's going to make Stirland pretty weak, and it makes the Empire as a whole pretty weak in the end. Also, if you get, you can get spreads going this way pretty quickly if you're lucky with your parasitic buildings. So yeah, I think Castle Drakenhof is a really smart first choice for your Trickster, and there's a scheme specifically to get 75 corruption in Castle Drakenhof, and you'll get immune to vampiric attrition, and that is very useful, especially by the time you get to Cathay and you have to be dealing with Gorst and all of that stuff over there. So that vampiric attrition immunity really pays off in the end. So what do we want to pick up with the Changeling here? I don't think his, like, army buffs are particularly great. I don't think that you need them that much. I don't think that the blue line for Tzeentch is particularly useful either. I think you really want to get his personal line here up, all the way up here to Red Hot Jape pretty early, because this gives you the battle abilities of the characters that you become. The Changeling can become any character he beats in battle. So you want those battle abilities. Like you get, like if you become Croak, you get Deliverance of Itza, right? And if you get Deliverance of Itza, the game's done. Deliverance of Itza is the best ability in the game. If you were to fight, you know, Carl here, you get Foe Seeker and Stand Your Ground, which are his abilities. Which melee defense plus 24, really good. Speed 25%, pretty good. There are better people to be, though, than Carl. You don't really ever really want to stay as Carl. You can become Gotrek. That's pretty cool. If you become, I don't know, let's go to... Who are we more likely to kill pretty early? Festus. You get all the healing, right? And you get the damage area, so that's pretty strong in the end. And eventually you can get all the way up to their spells. The stuff that you get up here just buffs, like... I mean, this is good. It's not great, but it's good. I will say that probably you do want to get up to Red Hot Japes. Go down here to get, like, the Winds of Magic and recruitment costs out of your blue line, and then spend the rest to finish this off, and then go up through here. Like, this is not the best skill line up here. Campaign movement range, not so for minus for your enemies, right? Reload time reduction for units via allied recruitment. Whoever does that. Nobody does that. But, yeah, nobody does this either. What am I talking about? This is pretty bad. Parasitosis. This is okay. Okay, this is okay. So, I guess come up here, get these two, finish this off, and then go. You're never using your magic tree, so you never, ever want to pick up this magic tree. I guess you'll finish off the red line or the blue line at that point. So, we're gonna go with Causeless Terror. No, nah. Let's go with Route Marcher first. We'll get Red Hot Jape by the time we're level 10, I guess. Probably somewhere around there.
Curious trinkets for my hand.
We're not going to be really moving around too much at the beginning of the campaign, but having that movement range is always kind of useful. Once we get our cult set up in Castle Drakenhof, we don't really have too many money problems to worry about. We get that symbiotic money building, we get the parasitic spread building, and just hopefully it'll spread all throughout Sylvania there, and that'll give us a ton of money as we work on taking out the Moot. We do want to go out and take out Festus pretty early. The problem with taking out Festus pretty early is you don't have any cults in this area, and the Empire army is stronger than your army at the start of the game here. And if you leave your little culty section, like I need a cult here and a cult here to be able to move in this area, right? Otherwise, I'll get caught out and get killed. Cult supplies per turn, pretty huge, if we're being honest. And this over here will give you like bonuses to your army. This over here gives you bonuses to like lords and stuff. I don't think this is sort of the best side of the tree, but now that I look at it, this is actually pretty good. I tend to spend my time up here. Cooldown reduction is really good. Wind of Magic is pretty good. So I say we go Winds of Magic before we get cooldown reduction. Spell resistance and miscast chance, that's pretty good. So the Winds of Magic shift through a fountain of indescribable colors as somewhere far beyond the raven laughs. We definitely want that.
What trickster wouldn't?
I want... Do I think I could take this army? Probably could. But let's go ahead and recruit up 3 more blue horrors. Mortar Robert here has leveled up. We'll give him a level. Training. I think training first for this guy and then to his magic is what you want. You want the trickster to level up pretty quickly. You want him to level up pretty quickly. And you're going to put like a cultist and a chaos sorcerer in this army pretty early. So having training to get those levels on those characters is going to be pretty big in the long run. It's really what you want. Next turn, whenever we get all those blue horrors, we're going to have huge money problems. We're going to be down to like 200, 300, 400 maybe bucks favor per turn. So that's going to really eat into us. Wow. Tempelov here is really dying. What is this faction name? I think it's Tempelov. They're getting eaten by Vlad, which, you know, most people tend to do. Vlad is terrifying to start next to. Even though this faction has quite a few settlements at the beginning of the game, Tempelov tends to die fairly quickly. Alright, parasitic building, or symbiotic building, and if we're lucky, we will end up with the money building without having to pay for it. Okay, so we got a new form with the trickster, and probably the worst one I've gotten yet. We can become Katerin. Who really cares about that? So let's check out the buildings that we got here. Yeah, we got a tier 3 money building. This is giving us 375 gold per turn just from this building. Now that doesn't seem like much, but it increases the income from all the buildings in this region, right? So once we get buildings spread around and we get cults spread around through here, we definitely want to pick up this. And we definitely want to get this because remember, we want the Tzeentch corruption in Castle Drakenhof to shoot through the roof. Once Vlad starts taking things over and starts really skyrocketing with his armies and building up his settlements, he is going to make us a ton of money. So right now we are in a province that is not hiding us, which is not very good. I do want to kill these beastmen just because I want to get the money and the experience from killing the beastmen, and their army's pretty weak and punky. It's just a bunch of like Ungors, right? So let's go ahead and fight this battle out, kill those bad boys to make some cash, to recruit some more blue horrors and some various things to build our military buildings, most likely, if we're being perfectly honest. I think this is a decent number of blue horrors. What we want is like Zangors or Marauders or some sort of front line that's a little scarier than blue horrors. But these beastmen, they don't stand much of a chance. Drop a couple of Lords of Magic spells on them, or Lords of Metal spells on them, and they're just... their leadership's not the best, right? So they'll break pretty quick. Oh, I didn't set the Changeling to be Katerin. Ah, that's a mistake. That's a mistake. But honestly, what would being Katerin do for us? Probably a whole bunch of nothing. She's not the best combat lord, and we won't get her win Lords of Magic for like another 12 levels. So probably not the best person to choose. That was a bad roll. Last time I played as the Changeling, I ended up getting Village. That was a pretty strong roll. Village is a pretty good melee combatant. Let's channel magic, see where we end up. Ah, we lost again. Ugh, that sucks. That's 2 times in a row. Zangor's in the front. Let's get you like up here. Blue horrors in the back. Like that. Flamers over here to the side. Get the Changeling and Mortar Robert set up over here. These guys over here. Start the battle. Move everybody up. The Ungor raiders are hidden, right? So we kind of gotta wait till we can see where the archers are and deal with them. Man, we only have 6 winds of magic. That sucks. We need to be in the channeling stance more often. I love the way the flamers look. I think, like, Tzeentch monsters look the best, in my opinion. They look really good. Let's kind of turn and move up. Get you guys going around the back. And where are the other units? They're gonna pop out of the brush and really mess me up, aren't they? All right, let's get Robert to fire some spells down on him. Hit him with a few shards of metal. Killing a few of them. Didn't do the amount of damage that I would have liked to see it do, but it did kill a few of them. We'll get the Burning Chariot in on the backside there. I want to set up these guys on the front side. Oh, whoop, 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 whoop. Okay, See, that's what I was waiting for. Let's get the Zangors in. Let's add you in. Send everybody forward. And have you guys just hit those guys. Pink fire here along this line to deal some damage. And try to maybe do some stuff. We do have pretty big blobs forming. Let's hit them in the back line. Zangor's getting kind of messed up. Give our boy some more magic, winds of magic, hopefully, and get the flamers down here to deal some damage. I really want to see the burning chariot do something. Big drop on the cockatrice there. Zangor's about to die. Not the best thing in all honesty. And I am watching the leadership on these Furies. Because we all know how Furies are. The second they lose leadership, they just melt entirely, right? Get them out of there. Chariot dealing some damage here. I want all of my blue horrors targeting their leader. Cockatrice coming into this back line would be pretty good. Burning Chariot almost out of ammo. Let's kill that. Let's deal some damage here. Get some more winds of magic going for this guy. And that's a win. I feel like, yes, hard is easier than very hard, but if I was doing that on very hard, like, it wouldn't have been any different other than it would have taken a lot longer to do. So I kind of wish in future Total War games that they kind of consider rebalancing their difficulty issues. We lost 64 units. We killed 500. And our flamer, oh yeah, our flamers, 131 kills there. That's a lot. They did great. I tend to make like an army of like 3 or 4 front lines, 3 or 4 exalted pinks, and then like flanks of flamers, just to purple and pink everything up. It goes crazy. Ooh, we got a banner from that fight. Speed 30%. Yeah, you know what? Actually, I want to put that on you. The army replenishment, like 1%, is going to put quite a bit back on my Zangors. So we'll take that. And we need to get back in a cult area. But I do think, if we're being perfectly honest, if we look at Kurgenheim, they just have spearmen, 1 set of crossbowmen, and some swordsmen. So I think we declare war on Kurgenheim, Hallebeck land, and we're gonna set up. It says a Pyrrhic victory. Ah, because these boys are within range. I'm gonna risk it and auto-resolve that. Nobody got lost. Nobody's super scary low, except for the Furies, but who cares about Furies? Gonna get some more cash out of this. Set up a parasitic cult in here. That gives us a little bit more money to work with. It does give us a cult here, and it does make us invisible as well. This is the correct building that I like. I don't have any, like... What happened to Needling? It got...
This win is mine.
It got sacked. Did I have, what did I, yeah, I had the parasitic one. That's the correct one, because it'll never be making money, right? So we don't want to rely on the money that they can make. I do need to set you to a battle form. I guess, I mean, I guess we're gonna go with Katerin, just to have some battle form. But Katerin really isn't the best one. Not really the best. We're gonna pump everything into Winds of Magic. And Searing Doom, and then Gehenna's Golden Hounds. This, in my opinion, is really the only good lower metal spell, is the Golden Hounds. I don't use lower metal very often because I never play as the Empire. And if I was ever playing anybody else that gets lower metal and other magic spells, why wouldn't I take Lore of Fire? Much better than Lore of Metal. But with Tzeentch, you got two options, right? You got, well, you got three. You got Fire, you got Tzeentch, and you got Metal. They start you off with a Lore of Metal, so you take it. I really want to get up and start looking to deal with Festus. Ultimately, that's the goal, right? He's got to go. There's a scheme for getting rid of Festus. We got to deal with him. Wow, a whole bunch of Skaven disappearing right away.
Only the master would let me be.
He's got 2 settlements up here in Hergig.
I am everyone.
I want to get down here. I want to switch to Channeling because we want Winds of Magic. I'll hire some ogres.
What a phantasmagoria.
Do I have the Sour Guts? Not yet. What do I need to get the Sour Guts? I can't tell which one. There's the Steam Tank. I can get a Carnosaur. I can get a Frostworm. Sour Guts. Level 5. We have to get a level 5. We're pretty close. So, Screamers are, in my opinion, kind of just overall better in the long run than Furies. So I'm going to get 3 units of Screamers. Castle Drakenhof. One more turn until we start getting the corruption that we want. This will make us like friendly with Vlad. And how much money are we making? 563. Remember last time it was only 300, so 563. As he develops Drakenhof, the more money we're going to get out of this province.
Who to set at war next?
Is there anything I really want? I mean, I want this, but I don't have enough. So we're just going to wait. I find that my Changeling campaigns go pretty slow as... like, I don't really feel pressured or hurried to do very much. It's kind of just hang out hidden, make money, attack opportunistic things, finish up schemes, get as many of the bonuses as we can get, and profit off of it there. You can fail your schemes, though, if you don't get them done soon enough. I have had that happen a couple of times. I think the faction destroyed, like, let's look at Nagaroth. If you don't fight a lord, eliminate a lord belonging to the ancestral throng, if they die before you fight that lord, you don't get that scheme. However, like, you can't really lose any of these other schemes, right? You have to have at least 3 schemes to do the grand scheme. So if we look here, our grand scheme is the Lords of the Empire are holding a diplomatic summit, but they seem to have forgotten your invitation. You'll just have to invite yourself and turn these petty nobles against their obviously rotten emperor. The emperor will be unable to reinforce during the ultimate scheme. The electorate council will go all declare war on each other. You can become Akold Hellbrass, which is pretty good. You get this blade, which is pretty good, and you can create a Trickster Rift, which is basically the same as Bellacor's Shadow Rifts. You can spread around everywhere you want. And you get 50 cult supplies per turn, which is the best part of this. So you need to do 3 things to be able to do this. We've already done 1. We're working on a second one. And I do want to get this because it gives me casualty replenishment rate forever, which is really good. So those are this scheme and this scheme are the 2 schemes I recommend aiming for. Wow, Dryka has taken needling over. Okay. Not a common sight, that, actually. That increases us by 10. We're going to have to save this for something like this, probably. As long as you always build the Parliament of Lies, you'll never ever be discovered.
The colors of Korn's flesh hounds melted down so nicely.
Let's,
His brass diorama defeats.
I want to stay here to get more units.
For some Schadenfreude.
But what I want is the Zangors. It's going to take 2 more turns until I can get Zangors. So I guess we just hang out until those are done. We do want to start spending our money and our time on these buildings, though. So we're going to need to get more cult supplies per turn. Get that rolling. So we can start spreading our cults around, start making way more money, and just sort of infiltrate all of Sylvania. And we want to get our corruption up here. That's ultimately the goal there. 938 gold per turn available out of this territory right here, I think. Pretty good. Well, not gold, but favor. You know what I mean. Whatever it's called. I don't know why they just don't call it gold for everybody. From 275 to 250 factions in the game. Alright, Winds of Magic reserve capacity increased for everybody, every army. But we are really suffering with Winds of Magic. There's just not very much Winds of Magic in the area. Let's go for cooldowns reduced for all those spells.
What trickster wouldn't?
And I mean, this would give. I really don't think switching from this to the other building would be good right now. And I don't want pink horrors yet. They're too expensive to build and maintain. I do want to get this, but I don't have enough cash.
What next? Swap for
This is kind of how the trickster goes. The changeling goes. You just sort of take opportunities as they come. I am going to need to move up into Talabheim and start dealing with that. I am weakening the Empire overall, I think, so Dryka might be able to do more stuff. I do have the... Oh, she's reducing my corruption. I do want to spread over here to Mordheim. That would be really big. Once your settlements start spreading by themselves, it really becomes very good. I kind of also want to come down here and get the Moot before Vlad gets the Moot. Because I really don't want a war with Vlad.
I am outside the plan, but part of the plan. Only the master.
Let's get some Zangors. And I think that'll be army complete. And we'll go down. We'll either take Wurtbad or we'll take the Moot. Set up some parasitic cults there. Save up some cash. Spend that cash over on Castle Drakenhof. And then we'll move up to the Fecundites and deal with Festus. I do want to complete at least a scheme per episode, or most of a scheme per episode, or else it's going to end up being a very long series, and long Warhammer series don't do very well. Temple off, completely gone. Vlad really coming out.
Deceiver.
We're gonna make the bold prediction that Vlad's gonna be moving here towards the moot next turn, so we're gonna be moving down here to preempt that. Again, we're just saving up cash. I think, wow, I can only be at 85. I'm at negative 30 right now. I guess we'll hit this to try to get our cults rolling. That'll be next turn.
Remember when I locked Korn out of his throne?
I can pop the Tzeentch corruption onto the Changeling, get some extra Tzeentch corruption, but I don't see a reason to be spreading Tzeentch corruption that much currently. We don't really have to deal with control or anything like that. Casualty replenishment is not a huge issue with us because we stay hidden most of the time. As long as we're in, you know, cult territory. We're going to make like a line of cult territory here. Hopefully I'll get Wurtbad as well. There goes Kazarak. He's gone. A lot of things gone. Icon of Sorcery.
Chaos incarnate.
We're gonna jump in here. What does this settlement garrison look like? I really have no winds of magic. The winds are really bad through here. This garrison's really, really pitiful, so we're just gonna come in here, look at what Katerin looks like, I guess, and just finish these guys up. The only thing that's scary here are the crossbowmen, and we'll be able to take those out pretty quickly. We're gonna be using our iridescent horror there to be dealing most of the damage this fight, I imagine. And of course the flamers will be doing their best. We do have one weird unit of ogres just hanging out, living their best life. No reason to be in this army. Ogres aren't particularly chaos aligned either, but you know what? Doesn't matter to us. We accept all kinds. We'll just take them. And that gives us some nice charge flankers, which is kind of missing right now in my army. I do have a bunch of flyboys though that can do some flanking, but these are mostly anti-large, and well, they have no real large units to worry about. If I was fighting, you know, like the vampires or the Draika over there, these would be a lot more concerning. They'd be doing a lot better. Eventually I want to replace these blues with pinks. We don't have much magic, but we'll channel what we have. And they evade me again. Wow. Wow, really doing really badly there. That's multiple times we have failed that roll. But you know what? We're gonna keep trying for it. Zangors. Blue horrors. We'll get the ogre bulls up here. We'll get the flyers. And all of them over here. And we'll do that. Flamers down here. Grab these, grab this. Start battle. Move them all forward. Oh, and where did we put all? They're way back here. Whoops. Whoops, whoops, whoops. That's a problem. It's gonna take a minute to catch up. I like the way the screamers look. flying manta rays. And while we have him running around down here, let's go ahead and zoop, change him over into Katerin for no reason whatsoever. I do want to keep moving these guys forward. Get these guys going around back. I think we can just charge those ogre bulls in and not really worry at all. I only have 18 winds of magic in reserve. I want you coming around here. Let's get our Zangors just in. We going. We go in. Get those flying. Get the blue horrors doing damage. And we're gonna attack. Just start doing some stuff. Yeah, this is why I like Tzeentch armies, because it's just a fireworks show. Look at that. Look, I love it. It's so beautiful looking. Yeah. Screamers are doing their job. Ogre bulls are doing their job. Has Katerin caught up? Yeah. Let's go ahead. I mean, I have nothing she could do right now, right? So it's actually better off having her be the Changeling. But, you know, we'll take what we got. We are losing some Zangors, which is no bueno. They probably got, like, friendly fired to death by the Flamers. If we're being perfectly honest, that's probably what happened there. Gehenna's Golden Hounds. And there's the victory. In battle. Changeling, absolutely useless in that battle. Because we don't have any of Katarina's spells. But if we get a better leader, we can always switch over. Took 56 damage. Killed 430. Who got the most kills over here on the side? 65 on those Zangors. What do my Flamers do? 29? That's not very many at all. 32 on the Burning Chariot. So the Zangors really eating up the infantry of the other side. You know, that's their job. But one of them took a serious beating. But it looks like most of that got healed back up. Completely killed these spearmen. Didn't kill most of these units. But we do cause terror. I don't know if we cause terror in changed form. Maybe we only cause terror in changeling form. I don't know. Decisive victory. Not very many grimoires. Not very much favor. But a decent amount of experience. Throw in a parasitic cult. And there's the sour guts. Come on, game. Stop chugging. Yeah. We'll get the sour guts. Throw them in. And now we have money problems. We have serious money problems that we really need to get dealt with. Why are you doing so poorly over here? 938. Our army just must be that expensive. Yeah. Expensive army. Okay, well, let's start moving into these things. We need at least 3 more levels to get up here to get the abilities. But abilities does not mean spells. We need 1,000 faces to get the spells, which is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 levels. We have to be 6 levels to get up there. That's gonna take a hot minute.
Bringing bedlam.
Get some training. And in the turn. It's gonna take a little bit of time to get these empire schemes done. But once the snowball starts rolling here as this faction, it doesn't really end as long as you don't lose the Changeling. But if you also lose the Changeling, you don't lose the game because you don't lose your Trickster cults, and you can always just get the Changeling again. If somebody is at war with you and conquers all of your territory, you still don't lose the game because they're not taking out your Trickster cults. They still exist in ruined settlements, right? So kind of an easy campaign. Maybe not the most engaging campaign for long-term play. Like, it's not really replayable in my opinion. But for a first time run through, it's pretty fun. Cooldown's pretty good. Raid Vertbod.
Chaos.
For a decent amount of money. Let's get up here.
Mortals.
We are not hidden here. Oh, this is Wordbot.
Who to set at war next?
So next turn, I'll just start raiding this area. It's one thing I would like is like a more distinct idea of where your cults overlap or not.
Melted down so nicely to make his brass diorama of defeat.
Experience per turn. And we're waiting until we have 2k gold, and then we're gonna improve probably this. Or maybe this. Probably this. Yeah. Probably this one. We do want cult spreading. That's the whole goal here. But we're going to call this an episode here for the first one. Let me know what you think about this series in the comments down below. If you're excited about it, let me know. And we'll at least try to do a couple of these scheme theaters. Hopefully we'll get to finish the Empire scheme pretty soon. Impervious skin is actually pretty good. Ward save for all characters is really good. Maybe we want to be warring some dwarves. We can always consider warring some dwarves. Alright, that's it. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.